As a warning, the content of this video, Absurdist Philosophy, can be rather bleak. However, Albert Camus' take, described in this video, can be seen as not entirely pessimistic and perhaps even optimistic. Let's begin with a rather blunt assumption. The universe, in its own sake, is inherently meaningless. This assumption is not too far a leap to make, especially if you believe in a deterministic universe where everything within the universe exists as a result of fundamental laws and forces playing out without intervention. The concept of absurdity, then, arises from the fundamental disharmony between one's search for meaning and the lack of meaning to be found within the universe. Sisyphus was an interesting man, and the focus of a particular ancient Greek myth. Sisyphus, a wise and prudent mortal, also had a knack for defying the gods and living a life with a rather passionate flavor. In one instance, he was nearing death and wanted to test his wife's love. He ordered her to cast his body into the middle of the public square upon his death. Upon awakening in the underworld, he received permission to return to Earth in order to rebuke and chastise his wife for her betrayal. However, once he returned to Earth, he did not want to go back to the underworld. Thus, he lived for many more years afterwards, defying the gods. You have already grasped that Sisyphus is the absurd hero. He is, as much through his passions as through his torture. His scorn of the gods, his hatred of death, and his passion for life won him that unspeakable penalty in which the whole being is exerted towards accomplishing nothing. Sisyphus' punishment was fitting for the lifestyle he lived. When Mercury came and dragged Sisyphus back to the underworld, Sisyphus was dealt a harsh punishment. He would roll a boulder up a hill. Each time the boulder neared the top, the boulder would roll back down to the bottom. For eternity, Sisyphus would continue to roll the boulder up the hill over and over again, only to have it roll back down repeatedly just the same. Our absurdity has three solutions. The first of which is escaping existence, also known as suicide. Prominent absurdist philosophers, including Albert Camus and Soren Kierkegaard, dismiss this option as it does not counter the absurd, but rather makes one's existence even more absurd. The second solution, endorsed by Kierkegaard, is a belief in something transcendent, another realm, being, or an idea. Kierkegaard would suggest that absurdity requires an irrational or unprovable leap of faith. Camus refers to this solution as philosophical suicide. Kierkegaard's full work on this is outside of the scope of this video. I see Sisyphus going back down with a heavy yet measured step toward the torment of which he will never know the end. That hour of breathing space which returns as surely as his suffering, that is the hour of consciousness. At each of those moments, when he leaves the heights and gradually sinks towards the layers of the gods, he is superior to his fate. He is stronger than his rock. The third solution to absurdity, acceptance, is the solution endorsed by French philosopher Albert Camus in The Myth of Sisyphus. This essay was published in 1942, written during the fall of France in World War II. These events helped Camus in his understanding of the absurd during a time when millions of French refugees were fleeing from German armies. In The Myth of Sisyphus, Camus endorses a solution to absurdity where one accepts the absurdity of their own existence and continues to live on in spite of it. That by accepting absurdity, one is granted the most ultimate freedom by recognizing no religious or moral constraint. Through rebelling against the absurd and constructing personal meaning out of nothing, an individual could experience contentment. Camus argues that despite all of Sisyphus' efforts being strikingly meaningless, he is able to find contentment regardless. Sisyphus is conscious of his absurd circumstance, and through acceptance is able to construct personal meaning and gain freedom over it. Sisyphus' fate belongs to him. Likewise, the absurd man, when he contemplates his torment, silences all the idols. Just like Sisyphus is able to accept the absurdity of his own situation and continue to live happily despite it, we are to accept the absurdity of existence and continue to live on in spite of it. This universe henceforth, without a master, seems to him neither sterile nor futile. Each atom of that stone, each mineral flake of that night-filled mountain, in itself forms a world. The struggle itself toward the heights is enough to fill a man's heart. One must imagine Sisyphus happy. Thanks for watching to the end, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd like to make more philosophy videos for this channel, so if you enjoyed it, let me know by liking or commenting.